Chat, I think at this point, Zack Snyder is just bullying James Gunn right now. I think at this point, Zack Snyder has his heel on James Gunn's neck. And James Gunn is crying, right? Pissing all over himself, begging, please, Zack Snyder, stop reminding people what good movies are. Stop reminding them how good these superheroes looked in live action. Please, I haven't even made my Batman movie. Don't show them this. Zack Snyder, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest post by Zack Snyder on his Instagram. This is the best Batman we've gotten in live action. Chat, I think you will agree. This was it. This is I'm not talking about the movies. Right? Because you can't argue that The Dark Knight isn't the best Batman movie ever made. You can't argue that. I mean, I would even say probably one of the best movies ever made, period. Not even a comic book movie. But I'm talking about Batman. Live action, on screen. Have we gotten a better depiction of Batman than what we saw in that one scene in Batman versus Superman where he goes in and takes out all those thugs? The violence, the aggression, right? The masculinity, badass, action movie-like, right? I haven't seen stuff like that since like the early 1990, maybe 1980s action movies. We haven't seen anything like that. It was truly marvelous. And I don't think we're going to get that with James Gunn. No. I don't think we're going to get a Batman movie with James Gunn either. Because this clown, he planned a James Gunn Brave and the Bold Batman movie, right? That's what this was going to be. It was going to be a Brave and the Bold Batman movie. We were going to get Damian Wayne Robin in there, right? Before we get Dick Grayson, before we get Jason Todd, before we get Tim Drake, we're going to get Damian Wayne? I'm telling you. And I got to be honest, chat. And maybe you guys agree. I got to be honest. I'm a little scared that we're going to get some weird shit in there with Batman, with Bruce Wayne. You know, I just got this feeling that in James Gunn's universe, Batman's a little weird. Maybe he's into some weird shit. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just a little worried about Bruce and his fascination with procuring younger men, right, to be his wards. I'm just saying. It's James Gunn's universe. But luckily for us, that might not be something to worry about, because get a load of this. James Gunn's DCU Batman Future in Limbo ahead of Warner Brothers Discovery sale. So we might not even get this garbage anyway. This is honestly a divine intervention, I think, for real comic book fans. I think this is good. I think that the Lord is healing this world. I do. I do believe that all these things that are taking place, they're all leading towards a better reality, right? Because this is not it right here. This is not it. You know, I'm telling you, I think we are going to see the return of Zack Snyder. I've said this in numerous videos in the past. I think it's just a matter of time. I think once this sale gets finalized, whether it happens to be that just Warner Brothers and DC get sold to Netflix or Skydance purchases the entire thing, I think we're going to see the return of the Snyderverse. I think that's the only logical direction to go in. You know, because I've seen people say, oh, well, you know, they can just reboot it. It's like, no, you can't reboot it again. You can't. This will be the third reboot, I believe. Maybe the fourth, if you're counting the soft reboot that The Rock tried to do. I don't know. I'm just saying you can't do it again. No. The Snyderverse is already established. It already has a passionate fan base, right? People actually that weren't fans of the Snyderverse. And chat, you tell me if I'm wrong here, but people that weren't fans that said, oh, it's too dark, it's too gritty, and they said, oh, James Gunn's universe is going to be so much better. And now that we're seeing gave James Gunn's DC universe a chance, I think they have buyer's remorse. I think they're regretting the entire thing. I think they're hungry. They're hungry for this, right? They want to go back. They're like, okay, we were wrong. They might not admit it, chat. They might not admit it, but I believe that if they restore the Snyderverse, I think we're going to see something historic. I think that those allegations that people just have, superhero fatigue, people are tired of superhero movies, I think all that garbage is going to go away. I think you're going to be looking at blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster. I think if we get Zack Snyder's Man of Steel 2, right, leading towards Justice League 2, if we get Batman here in his standalone Batman movie, throwing down with Slade, with Deathstroke, bro, you're looking at billion-dollar movies. You're looking at profitability. You're looking at making money. So if some executive is watching this video, I'm telling you right now, if you want to make some money again with these DC movies, right? These are some of the most iconic superheroes ever, right? It doesn't get more iconic than Batman. It doesn't get more iconic than Superman. So it begs to question, why is it that this doofus's garbage movies, his Superman movie, his Peacemaker show, why aren't they making money? It's because the creator doesn't understand these characters, right? He uses this content, these movies, these TV shows as means of employment for his family, including his dog. Crypto in the Superman movie, that's his dog. I wouldn't be surprised if the pooch got a check for, I don't know, for his likeness or some shit. He just doesn't understand movies. He doesn't, not movies. Yes, movies too, but more so the characters. And I'm tired of these people saying, oh no, he does. He truly captured who Superman is. Why? Because he was getting belt to ass the entire movie because he was a pussy? Is that why? I get it that Superman's meant to be a good guy, but here's a hard reality in chat. I know you understand what I mean here. Being a pussy doesn't mean you're righteous. Being soft doesn't mean you're good. In fact, quite the opposite. You cannot be a real good man unless you stand up for yourself, unless you are tough, unless you're willing to how can I put this? Unless you're willing to get in there and fight, right? That's what I mean by that. This right here, right? Look, a good montage. I love this, actually. This is a good montage of who saved Superman in his own movie, right? You had Mr. Terrific saving him, right? You had the pooch saving him. I think at one point even Lois saved him in some way. I'm telling you, he was getting belt ass the entire movie. Truly pathetic. But luckily for us, it's all coming to an end. Because, again, Zack Snyder, these posts aren't just for clout. These posts aren't for likes. No, these posts are meant to remind the people of what was there, what was taken from us. And he's also reminding us, hey, we're coming back. We're going to restore the Snyderverse. Chat, let me know what you think down in the comments. And like always, don't forget to subscribe. Sensational.